than the average of about 11 times earnings for Asian fixed line carriers. You could see just why they would want to do this for, as Martin had mentioned, one of the most beaten down stocks in Hong Kong this year. Now, for more, Anne LeBoutillier, director of the Asia Pacific for PCCW and Associates, joins us now to talk a little bit more about PCCW. And what did you think of this decision to downgrade the company? Do you think that it made sense?
Well, Eunice, I'm actually not a financial analyst, but a market analyst. When you look at the marketplace, it does make sense. What PCCW has done also makes sense, though, because when you look at Reach's operations, they're operating on a cost structure that really does not work in today's marketplace. So, yes, in essence, I think everything that we've seen is rational.
All right, and we quickly jump in here. I mean, the other part of the Merrill move on Friday, not just knocking it down to a sell, but also noting that, look, in terms of its core business, fixed line, HKT, things aren't looking too good on that front either.
No, that's true. And HKT in Hong Kong, we've got the same situation as we've got in Singapore, where we've got a market that is newly competitive, well, competitive over the last 5 years, and that traditionally knocks down the market share that the former monopoly, which Hong Kong Telecom, which is now PCCW, knocks down the market share. So PCCW has to be looking at other markets in addition to just their Hong Kong market. Well, that's really a good question. And from what I've seen of what PCCW is doing, they've got a JV, a small JV with China Telecom. They've got a couple of efforts in Taiwan. Really the greater China market, and other than that, they've got this Reach effort that is operational expenditure-wise not really conducive to earnings.
And what do you think about Reach? I mean, it's just really no surprise that the undersea cable business isn't really doing very well. What kind of business model would really work to make Reach profitable?
Reach has a very big problem right now, and that is they've got competitors in the marketplace who have come through Chapter 11. As a result, Reach has an operating cost structure that is significantly higher. Their capacity, what they're selling to as their main market, is more expensive than their competitors' capacity because their operational costs are higher. I honestly don't know what they can do in order to compete, other than this sort of write-down is probably going to help them in terms of bringing their prices down for the marketplace. They've got a decent reputation among carriers. I think what they've done in terms of providing service has been solid, and the carriers have seemed, the ones we've spoken to, have been reasonably satisfied with what Reach has provided. But they really are operating in a very difficult position due to the companies that have come out of Chapter 11 who are their competitors.
Yeah, and I got to ask you, over the last 1-2 weeks or so, I mean, in the headlines, PCCW has been a lot of flip-flops. I mean, denying interest, confirming it, etc., being turned down, cable and wireless, not just the mothership, but also the Macau assets. What do you think Richard Lee is thinking of right now? I mean, what's on his mind? Was he just trying to get himself back in the headlines, or what?
I think that they probably were taking a very serious look at the CNW purchase. I think they,
even with the debt situation they're still under right now?
Well, sure. I have a hard time following what Richard Lee is thinking, really. Yeah. As much as I like to analyze that market, he tends to be a bit unpredictable. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, but, I think he works a lot on intuition, and I would guess he's a very intelligent guy, and I'm not sure that I'm willing to question his intuition, but obviously from what's happened over the last few weeks, other people have questioned those moves.
All right, Anne, I got to leave it there. Good to talk to you, ma'am. Anne LeBoutillier, PCCW and Associates. Also, Eunice Yoon outside in our newsroom, our tech correspondent. We're going to take a quick break, folks. Don't